Podcasting from the Penguin Air Plumbing and Electrical Studios, we are your hosts, Will Hallett and Wade Russ, and this is the Penguin Pro Show. The Penguin Pro Show is an informative podcast talking about air conditioning, heating, plumbing, and electrical systems in the home. Each week we'll bring on a panel of professionals to educate listeners on different topics related to these systems. Today we're real excited. We have Julian Scadden, the CEO of Nexstar Network. And Wade, this is going to be fun today.
Yeah, I'm excited. This was spur of the moment, and we were fortunate to be able to host a roundtable event here at our facility, and Julian agreed to come on to the podcast for us before we go to dinner, so very exciting, and thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for hosting.
And, of course, our general manager, Jay Klein, is always with us.
The most important one. He's our boss.
He runs the show around here.
He tells us what to do.
I get it.
Here at Penguin Air.
They don't listen, but I tell them what to do.
Everybody's playing their role. That's a good job.
That's right. So yeah, we had a round table today. It's where we bring on all the members locally that want to join, and we kind of talk about what things that we can improve upon in the Nexstar Network. And Julian's here, and we're going to talk to you about a little bit about your story. A little bit about your background. You're the new CEO of Nexstar.
I am.
Just a little bit about how long we've been a Nexstar member. And for your listeners, Nexstar is probably it's the best membership training program there is for residential home services.
And it's membership owned, which is really cool.
Yep.
We all have a vested interest in improving other companies' lives and success, and
So we're the only one that I'm aware of that's member-owned. There are other organizations out there that have their own vested interests, that have private equity backing. We don't have that. We've got the strength of our memberships. We're small, but we're mighty because of folks like you all. You'll open up your shop. You'll allow, I'll even use the term competitors. You give them a tour. We'll talk about inventory sheets. We'll talk about marketing. We'll talk about what's working, what's not, and honoring each other. So really raising the industry, even based on our business model, that Nexstar in and of itself has no one else to report to but you all. We have no other stakeholders but you all. We have no profit to chase but to return it in the form of goods and services to you all. So I'm very proud about that. And I want to make that distinction for your listeners here. Okay, so Nexstar, why is it different from any other leading practice organization? Well, that's why. It's run by the inmates. You all tell us what's working out here, and then we distill it, we scale it, we run it through our business coaches, we create training programs for it to just give right back to our membership. So it's a beautiful organization. It's a leadership opportunity like I've never had. I've run other businesses, but I'll tell you, when you know you're not getting a dividend, a distribution, some kind of equity at the end of the year, you make different decisions. When you know that you have 800 bosses, you think differently in business, and you'll make different decisions, and it's so rewarding, so fulfilling.
It is fulfilling.
Thank you.
Yeah. So go ahead.
I was just going to say really quick that we've been in business just over 10 years. And we joined Nexstar 2017, and the majority of our growth has come from the involvement and the coaching and lessons learned from the Nexstar Network. And obviously, if I were to do it again, I'd join from day one of starting a business like this. But yeah, very valuable. It's been great.
Yeah, we have really taken on, especially Jay here. Jay really takes on most of the responsibility of running the Nexstar and our training, and but a little bit about myself. I grew up kind of in the system because I worked for George Brazil.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The George Brazil.
Yeah, one of our founders.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
With Jack, and I don't know the dynamics of that, but George always was wanting to share. In fact, Wade has a story of George wanting to help you out when you had your little business.
Sure.
So, that's what it's all about, right? Not reinventing the wheel. Let's help each other out. We're all in this together. It's a battle. Let's help each other out. So, but before we do that, let's talk a little bit about your background, how you got in the trades. We were talking earlier about wrestling. Wade was a wrestler. His dad's a wrestling coach, or was in high school. And wrestling family is what you came from. I didn't wrestle. I played basketball. Jay here's actually a great golfer. He was on the Junior USA golf team.
Nice.
So
let's not discount the fact that you delivered newspapers too, right?
Yeah, that's right. At the age of 10.
You're late to the game, buddy. Spoiled.
I spoiled.
Most people do that at 5 and 6.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, let's talk about a little bit about your background, how you got in the trades, and where you ended up being the CEO of Nexstar.
Isn't that crazy? To even hear that out loud, I love it. Because I'm a high school dropout. That's my story. Grew up around gangs, drugs, city kid, street life, and just school wasn't for me. Just meaning like conformity and the rules, and you see other people making quick money, but I always kept a job, and so I always wanted to work in some way. And by chance, I happened to be a ditch digger, a little sewer line ditch digger for a local plumbing company, and that's how I got into plumbing apprentice. Eventually transitioned into the office. Worked for a business that was then bought by a major corporation, so I learned the business side really well through that experience of that mom and pop being bought. Worked for different companies as well, eventually one being a Nexstar organization. So then I saw the difference between a corporate structure in our industry, residential home services. And for any homeowners that might be listening right now, there is a true distinction. And it kind of gets back to, as I mentioned, the Nexstar model that we're owned by the members and we behave differently. But Nexstar members behave differently because they're independent. They're not corporately structured. They're not like some of these large corporations that are out there. So they're going to serve you differently. They're going to serve your homes with that in mind. And that's what I was attracted to. So I call it, I served 8 years with the corporation. And I'm not going to negate any of the business acumen that I learned there. I mean, I really learned the business, the bottom line, percentages, the P&L, the balance sheet. I learned that, and I wouldn't change anything for that education. But it wasn't for me. The culture wasn't for me, the cutthroat culture that I experienced. I can't speak for every corporation out there. But really from that, through trials and tribulations, from a kid who didn't know what the heck he wanted to do, this was kind of my side job, became my career. And then I had the opportunity to partner up with a residential business. We became Nexstar members. We did great. We built an amazing company. And then I decided I wanted to be a coach. So I went out and started coaching on my own, but always poking Nexstar. I wanted to be a Nexstar coach because of what I saw our coach do for our business when we were growing a business. And eventually I got the call, and I've been an employee 8 years. So I was a coach with Nexstar, a trainer with Nexstar, the operations manager, and about, 6 months now into the president CEO role. Couldn't be more humbled and more excited at the same time.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats. I mean, that's incredible. And you've been there 8 years.
Yep.
And there's people that have been there longer than you, I'm sure. I mean, it's been around 30 plus years, this organization.
Coming up on 30 years.
Yeah. So good job, man.
And you had a great mentor in Jack.
Jack Tester, the first employee, the first CEO, was also my business coach when I was a member. So he helped me grow that business. He taught me a lot, but he also saw me. He saw me in action. So he knows that I'm an operator at heart. And when I was given the opportunity at Nexstar, just kept getting new opportunities. Wanted to grow. When I started at Nexstar 8 years ago, there was 20 staff employees. We'll be at 100 by the end of this year. So just speaking also to the service that we're able to provide.
How many members 8 years ago?
Well, I'm going to guess a little bit here and say probably closer to 500, and then today we're at 877.
Awesome. So let's go a little bit back. I listened to a podcast when you were on Rhino.
Yeah.
Which was a great job by Chris there, and I guess I'm the tall guy, whatever he called him. So, Paul.
Rhymes with tall.
Yeah, rhymes with tall.
Yeah, Chris and Paul, what's up?
So they talked a little bit about mission-based businesses versus, you talked about this, and I really want to talk about this, mission-based versus monetary-based.
Yeah.
Can you kind of talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, this went back to what I experienced with the corporation, and in another term that I heard in some of the coaching that I've done in the past, athletic coaching, is transactional versus transformational, or you could even say, a missionary versus monetary. But what's the mission of the business? Let's just get to it. If you want to work on Wall Street and you want to have sharp elbows and you want to go after people and never give a refund, and that's your business model, that's your business model. That's fine. Be true to it. Mm-hmm. Be proud of it. Wave it. I just found that my personal inclination, my personal values are more towards the mission. And it's, who can we serve? Who can we serve next? Who can we uplift? Who can we help? And same thing with a transactional. And I really want to park here for a moment for employees. For people that are thinking of joining this trade and you're thinking about where you want to work, I want you to look at your own behaviors. And are you transactional or transformational? Meaning, you guys pay me my check? Is my check here on time? I'm putting in my straight 8 and I'm leaving. Or are you willing to put in a little bit of extra work? Are you willing to put into the mission? Are you willing? And if you've got a great business, this is what I've found, and this is what I experienced through Jack, is every extra effort that I put in was recognized and acknowledged, maybe not immediately, right? So that's the other thing is you don't have to look for immediate gratification, but put the time in, build your rep. And if you're in a mission-based business, it will come back tenfold. Mercenary, you're always going to have to be watching your back. You're always going to, have to wonder about who's coming for you. And that's transactional. If I do this, do I get that? Versus transformative of how can you help me grow, and we can transform the entire business. So
Love that.
I love thinking of it that way.
Well,
Well,
I think if you don't mind, one
No,
thing I would
please.
love to share on that is when you talk about that mission-based business. A little bit of my story is, I started here as a technician. I started as a technician in the field, just running calls, and that's one great thing about, like I say, the Nexstar members and the type of companies that want to join that is, I put in the extra effort, and it didn't show right away, but I got recognized, and I slowly made that move up, and now the general manager position, and it's one of those that I love that part of it. I love being part of a business that's like that, and then being part of your guys' network as well. You guys only really like businesses like that, and one of the things I always loved is every training we go to is that code of ethics you have to sign at the very beginning, right? And that's kind of diving through it and going through that whole thing, and it's, you guys truly care how the companies are treating their customers as well, how they're treating their employees. It's not just, hey, are you guys profitable? No,
Right.
it's are you guys profitable, but doing it the right way, and that's what I've always loved about Nexstar.
And that's a great point that I want to park on also for just a moment, is being membership owned. We're not held hostage by the members either, that we do have a code of ethics, and it is employee engagement, customer satisfaction, and profitability. And I like to say it in that order, because if we can invest in the employees, they're truly engaged, we can give them an exciting, engaging future. They'll take care of the customer. Customer will return and the profitability will happen. And the reason I say that we're not held hostage by our members is we'll kick you out. If you're unethical, if we get, if there's enough smoke, you've got to go. If we keep getting reports or something's going on, or you're just, not playing well in your neighborhood, we need to sever ties, because what we need to do, again, back to raising the industry. And I was actually, I don't know if you noticed on a break, I had stepped out and was on a phone call. I was recruiting a trainer. I called a guy up, and I'm, constantly recruiting here. That's I think part of one of my main jobs. And I let him know that every training class we do, we go into it, every page in the book, every piece of content, every exercise we do, our terminology on the training team, of which I was privileged to be part of for a year and a half, is if the customer's in the back of the room. Everything we do, everything we say. And I know from my experience in this industry, not every training in our industry is like that. Some of it is, well, if you tell the homeowner this, it's not, well, they'll never call it scare tactics, but it is scare tactics. And they'll just say, well, just make sure you remind them. And I'll even hear lines like, well, you called me out today. Wouldn't it be smart to, why would you let me leave? And it's like, why would you put people in that situation in a cell? It's just like, no. Present them their options, educate them. So everything we teach, my point is that we put it through that filter as if the customer's in the back of the room. And if there's any piece of content, any story we're about to tell, something we're crafting or creating, and we wouldn't do that with a homeowner sitting in the back of the room, it can't hit daylight. We're not going to do it.
That's great for the industry.
Yeah.
Because we all know a company that is transactional, if you will, or
Yeah.
just,
They're out there.
I remember back in the day when there wasn't reviews and this and that and the other, and it was like every customer's worth $1,000. Like some of these companies, that was their philosophy and stuff. But I like that. Because you don't need to be like that to be successful. And all three of us, Will, Jay, and myself, we all have the same philosophies and values, and
We've
it's always
built a
been
great
about the
business here.
customer.
And they'll work their way out too.
Yeah.
We've had plenty of employees that do not.
Well, and to go back to what you said before, win-win-win,
Mm-hmm.
right? Employees first, customers, and then the business, which is the profitability.
That's right.
Win-win-win.
Yeah,
Love
and
it.
then it's not an employee; it's a team member.
Internal customers, we call it as well. I'm sure you've heard that. And
And here's something I get really worked up about in our at Nexstar, is because we have a really great culture, and from what I can tell around here, you guys have built a great business, you got a great culture. But I'm just gonna get on a soapbox for just a second. We're not a family, and I'll tell a new recruit, and I'll say, you're gonna hear we're like a family here, and everybody's gonna say it. You're gonna hear it more than once. We're not. We're a team. Because you will get cut. You have a position. You need to run the plays. If you don't like your coach, if you don't like your teammates, if you're starting trouble, you'll be gone. We'll still love you. We will love you. But this isn't family. We have a mission. We have things we need to accomplish. You have a position that you can play. And if you can excel, then there's other positions for you. But I like how that gets mixed up sometimes at Amazing Cup. So we're like family. Like, no, we're not. Please don't be like family.
No.
My family has crackheads, alcoholics. I don't want. You're not going to be here. Like, I have to tolerate you at holidays. I'm not going to pay you to be around. And let's just get real clear on that. We're building a championship team.
Yeah, it is a team, and we're going after championships here. So that's the main important thing that we talk about, and win. So, talking about it is like sports though. Home services is so close to. We all played sports, right? You wrestled. It's that's more. It's like an individual sport, but you do go after championships as a team, right? And so there's both. Like that's what I love about home services: getting out, being in a truck. Being your own little franchise of the business, building that referral business for yourself, and then you come together as a team to win goals and championships. So that's for anyone that's thinking about any listeners out there that might be listening to this, that want to get in the trades. Listen to these stories. Listen to Julian.
Pick that shovel up. Don't be bigger than any job.
One more thing I really like, I want to touch on before we wrap it up, is if you're not a Nexstar member, I feel like you look at your competition out there as competition, and it's a fight amongst each other. And I love the team atmosphere amongst the companies in competition, friendly competition, if you will. And they were all at our office today, and I talked a little bit about enhancing the respect amongst each other and stuff, because you do have employees that go from company to company and this and that and the other, and Nexstar makes it a policy to at least notify a company that you have an employee applying over here or whatnot, which is great.
And what's interesting about that is sometimes from a member, and again, remember, I ran a shop, so I've been a member too, and it's interesting from the member side. Sometimes you look at it like, maybe they're stealing from me, and sometimes there's that. A lot of times it's a misconstrued thing. There's always 3 sides to every story. But the other part of that is, how about you should look at your culture. If you're leaking people, you need to look internally, because yes, is there predatory recruiting? We will get involved. We have the ethics committee. I talked about that. We'll get involved. But if you're leaking, start by looking in the mirror, and we want to help you with that. But I also want to call you out on that. It's to the point though, if you're losing 5 people a month. Nobody's marketing that, because you're always going to have the jumpers. You're going to have the guys. It's going to happen. We're an incestuous industry. CSRs all know each other. DSRs all know each other. Techs all know each other. Installers. It's going to happen, but they got to find out what's home and release those people that aren't a good culture fit. Release them. Let them be free. Let them go on to the next one. Yeah.
We get those guys that come over, and we know they're going to do that. You know that they're going to do the same thing to us.
Yeah.
And so you kind of save yourself the time, energy, and money. And
it's
probably not a good fit,
guys, right?
But then we have guys. The majority of our guys love it here.
Yeah,
and
they've been with us for a while.
Wouldn't want to go for $1,000 bonus or a hiring bonus or whatever these guys are doing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
A big problem. Well, do you guys have any other questions at all?
No, man. Thanks again for agreeing to do this with us. And Jonathan was really excited to get you on. Didn't think we had the time to do it, but appreciate you setting aside a little time to do it.
Always make time. And I just want to shut you all out and what you've built here and what you're growing here. So if you would, just treat me like I'm a new person listening. What are the services you provide? What is your staff? Because here's what I'll say, and I'll model what I'm asking here, is that Nexstar Network, we are a member-owned organization. We're not for everybody. We have territory limits. We can't let everybody in, and that's intentional, so we only attract the best of the best, and we can be selective. But what we do is we provide world-class, the world's best coaching, training, operations systems for the residential plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical services. So that's what we do. That's our charge. And I just want you to know that our growth, our vision at Nexstar is actually that we monitor our members' growth. We don't have internal measurements of Nexstar will get to, $100 million. No, our vision is that our members will grow year over year by at least 10% and be at least 15% net profit. And that's what we measure. So when you all do the survey, so please do your surveys, any Nexstar members that are listening. We don't do those surveys just to get in your sock drawer. We do it to measure the progress, the impact that we're having in your businesses. So that's who we are, that's who we serve. But I'd love to hear more about the Penguin story just before we sign off, if you would indulge me. Tell me about, because you've grown a little bit and you're adding new services. I want to hear about that.
You want to start, Wade?
Well, sure. So Will and I started this in 2011, as he said earlier, we were sales reps for a competitor. And in 2011, we started the phone. We did a little quarter-page newspaper ad in the Arizona Republic when that worked back then, and the phone started ringing like crazy. We had one girl in the office and a couple installers and a technician or something, right?
Yeah.
And you were out in the field selling, and I was in the office doing bookkeeping and
What
stuff.
trades were you guys doing at that
It's
point?
AC.
Just air conditioning and heating.
Got
That's
it.
all we knew. That's what Wade and I, that's all we know.
Yeah, so did roughly $800,000 that partial year. And then we were growing pretty considerably year after year, but we focused a lot of our attention on replacement of air conditioning units. I wish we'd done a lot more maintenance programs in the beginning. But and then Jay came on, and I knew him from my previous business that I started a long time ago. But anyway, we eventually added plumbing and struggled with that until we found the right plumbing manager. And now plumbing's finally taken off, which is great. It helps us in the off season. And then electrical has just been really taken off. And we started that just about
That's awesome.
a year ago or so.
It's been 1 year now. Okay.
And electrical has really been good to the business. Good for the business because there's not a lot of competition, that does what we do with the electrical and
definitely
stuff.
need for
So
homeowners out there is the electrical side. Yeah.
yeah, but so
Good.
long story short, started with 4 employees, and I think we have 80 employees now.
Oh, wow.
And feel like we're just getting started, man. We looking to do some acquisitions to grow the business, because the organic stuff is slowing down.
Okay.
So we want to get it a little bigger. But in this market here, we tried to go outside the market, and that was a mistake. But
There you go. And I appreciate you sharing that. I really wanted to hear it for myself, but really I think of the listeners to be encouraged to understand that you can go into new areas, you can go into new trade lines. I would also invite you, and that's the beauty of having a network of people who can tell you what to beware. Like you said, we wanted to go out of the market. That was a mistake. And you could, a Nexstar member could pick up a phone, call you and say, why? What went wrong? What would you do differently if you did it? And that's what we have here. But what you all have built and are building, and the way that I'm watching it from a distance, it's a beautiful thing. And I just wanted to say
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done.
Well, thank you. And once we really started following the Nexstar processes and systems, we started to see this year we're getting those 15% nets.
Well,
We're getting those growths.
whatever you do in life, whatever it is that you want to be successful, I'm grateful that Nexstar is the name that gets dropped. The truth is, if there's anything you want to do, okay, if you want to be an electrical engineer, if you want to be a magician, I don't care what the hell you want to do. If you have 800 people or businesses that are already doing it that you can go to, we're just we're a library. We get all the good stuff from all our members. We figure it out, we refine it, and we reshare it. So if you wanted to be great at something and you could have 800 mentors, that's what Nexstar truly is. So I appreciate the name shout out, but that's what it's you all.
And it's truly, we're students of this game, right? We love to learn. Wade and I always want to progress. We're never going to stop progressing. Even as we grow and we think we've all figured out, we're never going to get that out.
Yeah, no, it's great, and it is like you say, it's all the network, right? I mean, that's the big part of it is. I love somebody will, I'm talking to somebody and they're like, wow, that's an amazing idea. I'm like, well, honestly, I got it from another member. Right? I'm passing it to you now, and I got that from them. Yeah,
I didn't learn it.
And I think a lot of that shows is, like I say, we had all of our competitors sitting in the same room in here. Most everybody was from here in Phoenix, and one of the top things that they said was, let's get more regional get-togethers, right? Let's get together more often here in town, and we're all competitors, but really being able to get together, share ideas, help each other out, and and know that we're all in it together. We just want to help out homeowners.
That's beautiful.
And that was Frank and George's vision. I mean,
But that's what they did.
I know they always
Our
shared.
founders, this is how Nexstar was founded. Our founders would go around the nation, booking ballrooms, having people come in and just share your inventory sheets, share your marketing materials. It would talk about how to price correctly, just giving. Frank Blau, the founder of Nexstar, who, along with George Brazil and some others, but he wrote articles for the P&M magazine. I don't want to exaggerate, but I know it was over a decade for free. Never asked for anything. Constantly just promoting and just saying, what can we do to make this better for everybody? And so that's why our legacy lives on in the spirit it does.
Sure.
That's awesome.
again, how great for the industry as a whole. I mean, there's so much business out there for everybody. And so for us all to do it the right way and shed a positive light on the industry instead of what happens with,
And if you
Other
See what
companies?
happens, yeah.
If you have a home services business and you want to join Nexstar and you know it all, don't even call us.
We don't need them.
Yeah, you won't be.
there's a few of those out there.
If you think you've invented everything,
Yeah, that's fine. Go be
keep-
smart alone.
Keep your ego with yourself.
Take your ball and go home.
Take your ball. Well, good. Awesome. Thanks for joining
You're
us.
welcome.
I know
Thank
we're
you.
heading out to dinner here.
Yeah.
We're going to go mingle some more and have some fun tonight. But Julian, great having you here, and appreciate you joining us real quick for this little episode.
Yeah, I'm honored. I appreciate it. All the best.
All right.
And as we always say, like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Next